Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so how is everyone after the break? Good, good. Because there's a challenge here for me to give anything about security. My talk is about security just before lunch. How about that? Okay, I will try. I will do my best to keep you awake. So we know that we are using password for as long as we remember. You take out money from ATM machine, you use password. You access your accounts, online accounts, you use password. To open your phone, you use password or PIN or whatever is still a password, right? You what else? You probably for newer car, it use your fingerprint or password or RFID, something like that. So we are using password for as long as we remember, right? And there is a problem with password. A good password or a secure password, it has to be long. It has to be consist of alphanumeric. It has to consist of symbols and so on. And the more complex it is, the more secure it is. But it's harder to remember, right? And some sites, to enhance their security, they add something else called two-factor authentication. So you need to use your password and they send you another password to log in. And this comes with cost. Email, it comes with cost. SMS, it comes with cost as well. And the last one is Authenticator app, right? Let me tell you the story about Authenticator app. There's a call, in Android, you have an application called Google Authenticator, right? In the past, this Google Authenticator is not synchronized with Google account. So you have to scan it and it stays in your device. And you cannot even, like, if you have a new device, you cannot just transfer it, right? It's hard. So there's a little story about two-factor authentications. A few years ago, I lost my Android phone. And as a first thing to do when you lost your phone is you use the features called Find My Device, right? And I rushed into a nearby computer in my office, and I open in any computer. I put my Google password. I remember my Google password. You know what? It asked me, please put your 2FA. Okay, I need to find my phone. My 2FA is in my phone. So how can I find my phone? Okay, I have backup codes, but I forget the backup codes in Google Keep, which is in my Google account, which is I cannot access. Okay, the next one, SMS, but SMS goes to my mobile device. And that's it. I am logged out. So I have to all the way to contact Google and open my account. And unfortunately, my phone lost forever. And password, whatever secure as you can, is still vulnerable for phishing attack. You cannot because the attacker can use the sites. The domain name is really similar with non-ASCII character, and you just put your password and that's it, gone. And another thing, you cannot reuse your password anywhere, right? Can anyone guess what is the password that have 9 million times before? Password, yay. Okay, so you cannot reuse password because somebody else already have that in their dictionary. So you're prone to dictionary attack. It's just admitted. Password is complex. Password is not fun. Password is, I don't know what to say, but yeah, let's get rid of password. So that's where passkey comes in. Passkey is meant to replace password and two-factor authentications altogether. And today, I'm very thrilled and excited to tell you how to use it on WordPress. So first thing, let's overview what is Passkey. With Passkey, it's way more simpler to use because you don't have to think about accounts you use. Because, for example, if you need to log into, like, for example, your bank account, online bank account on the site, you need to remember what is your username because they probably generate your username for you. At least in my case, the bank generate my username, okay? And I don't remember it. And with Passkey, it already generate, it has an account selector that you can use. And Passkey use biometric authentication, so I don't have to remember. I can use my face, I can use my retina, I can use my fingerprint. That comes with the device. And the last part is something that can solve my problem when I lost my phone. It's seamlessly synchronized between device that I own. If it is Apple device, it's synchronized through iCloud keychain. If it is Android phone, it's synchronized with my Google account. And Passkey is way more safe. Okay, Passkey is using industry standard technology, asymmetric encryption, which means use a key pair, private key and public key. The thing that's sent to the server or somebody else's server, or your site, if you own a site, is only the public key. When the public key is if somebody else got your public key, that's nothing. It's just public key. They cannot do anything. It's different than somebody hacked somebody else's sites and your password, even though it can be dehashed at some point. But with public key, get it, take it. Do whatever you want with my public key. It's the same way how we used to log in with our SSH to log into the server, or you send your Git commit to GitHub. It's the same industry standard and the same way of encryption. And it's phishing resistant because when you generate your passkey, it only used with the same domain. And web browser will detect if it's not the same domain or have a different character. It will not detect your passkey and cannot be unencrypted. And passkey is supported by this large vendor, Apple, Google, and Microsoft, which I believe 99% of you here use one of their products, right? And it's already supported by them. So how to create passkey? During the first login, you offer the user, do you want to log in with your fingerprint? Like, for example, in this way, log in with the Google account and then go to the account, it's set up, do you want to set up your fingerprint unlock? And that's it. You set up your fingerprint and save, done. The next time you come to the site, it will offer you, after you choose the product and you would like to buy a product, and before checkout, you are being offered, do you want to log in? Like in this example, you continue setup and it show up, do you want to use the passkey? And that's it, you log in. You don't even have to enter your email address or username. That's it. Put your fingerprint, done. And if you ever buy a new phone, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to regenerate your passkey. Your passkey will synchronize automatically with your Google account or with your Apple iCloud account. In your new device, you can use the same passkey that you generate before. Okay, the next one is really awesome because you can cross-device authentication. In this, on the left is with browser, while on the right is with your mobile. All you need is just generate a barcode, 2D barcode, and then from your device, you can scan the barcode and you can log in, it's automatically log in. We will demo it today for you. So, how Passkey work? I oversimplified this, but it's like this. The client part is your mobile device or your web browser. It will generate a key pair, and the public key will be sent over to the server, and the server will store your public key, and that's it. It's the same way how you register your public key to GitHub, or the same way that you send email where the public key is stored in your mail server. Someone else can get the public key to authenticate your identity. And to sign in with Passkey, the same way, your web browser will send the signature, will generate a signature that goes to the server, where the server can only validate that with the public key that you sent before. When it's validated, that means your identity is confirmed, and you just log in. And to know more about Passkey, there are a lot of talks about this, there are a lot of documentations about this. All you need is just go to the goo.gle/passkeys. Okay, the next thing. We know about Passkey, what Passkey solve, and what Passkey give you to solve the password problem, and how to integrate that on the web, especially WordPress. To integrate on the web, we already have the Web Authentication API. Is this a standard, a web standard? In short, we call it Web Authn, and it's already approved to be a web standard and supported by major browser. And on Firefox, it's coming soon on this year. So Safari, Google Chrome, and Edge already support this by default. To create a passkey, on the client side, it's first, you need to create a challenge. You need to obtain a challenge from the server. This is just a snippet of the code. Get a register request from the server, and then server will reply you with a challenge code. Something like this. Don't get intimidated, I can explain that. First, the challenge. This is the important part. The server will give you one-time key, one-time. In WordPress, you call it N1s, or someone else also called nonce, right? It sends you only one-time key that you can use. This is to prevent a replay attack or a brute force. So server will send you the challenge code, and then the relying party, or in short RP, is the ID, which means the domain. This is the domain that your passkey will use to register this private and public key. And with this parameter, make passkey phishing resistant. And the other is like to tell, okay, this is the user that generated the public key credential params is the algorithm that you can, compatibility that you can use the server understand, then the client understand. And the authenticator attachment at the bottom is the platform. That means allow the authenticator to use biometric authentication. And then to create the passkey, you just need to call navigator.credentials.create. That's the web authentication API. That comes from the web browser. So from this, you provide the challenge you get from the server, you provide the RP. Basically, everything else is just the same what you get from the server response. And your web browser will show this pop-up. And with this pop-up, all you need is just continue, put your fingerprint, and then your passkey register. That's it. To log in is the same way. You obtain the challenge from the server. You ask, hey, I would like to log in. And the server will respond to you the same way that the server responds before with the challenge. And then you use the challenge with navigator.credentials.get. That's it, create and get. As simple as that. You supply the challenge and you add the relying party ID. The browser will pop up, will say, will ask you, that's the word, there is a word admin there, that's a username that is registered. So you don't need to add your username anymore. And when you continue, you will be asked to add your fingerprint or biometric authentication and your login. So we already talked about how it works on the client side. It also involves the server side. The server side is, you can use the Composer package for it. It's called Web Authentication Library. This is a PHP server side. There is a Node.js server side as well, but in this case, we just talk about PHP. And there is also another Symfony package under the same organization that create this, that you can use for example, Laravel framework or another Symfony-based framework. And on WordPress, I created a plugin for that. And unfortunately, the plugin is still under review on WordPress.org. So I will keep you updated if it's accepted. But in the meantime, you can use the plugin from my GitHub repository. How it works? Let's demo it. Check. Okay. So this is the repository. And if you like to try this at home or right away, you can just fork this repository. It's open source. And you can try it right away with code spaces. I created a dev container for you. All you need is just add your code space. I spin up my code spaces last night, and it looks like this. So it's like a VS Code, online, web-based, and there is a container spin up to run WordPress. Just a note, it takes a while, like 10 minutes or so to spin up a new container because it needs to download Docker, blah, 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 and set up everything. But eventually it will finish. And it will look like this. It's just a normal site that the password is password for now. And nothing else in here. It will automatically install the plugin called Passkey. And to register your Passkey, all you need is just go to Profile. And at the bottom, there's a Passkey section. I did register this a couple months ago, yesterday, I mean. And one I registered on my Opera browser, the other one on Safari. So let's see how it works. I log out. One password support Passkey, that's why it's pop up, but I can use my default browser. And there is an admin already here. And I just continue, use my fingerprint, and that's it. It's login. Since I did generate for Safari, oh, that's my girl. I did generate for Safari. I never generate on my iPhone. So I did generate that on Safari browser here. And it's automatically synced with iCloud. So what I do is just refresh this, and it will ask for my biometric, and I just use my face recognition, face ID, and it's login. There is another one that I like to demo it. I hope it works. So, like this. Imagine that from my story before that I, for example, lost my device and I have to log in to a new computer, or that's not that extreme. You probably need to log into your WordPress site on a different computer, but you don't remember the password, and it's somebody else's computer. You don't know that, and you don't want to type your password because you not trust that, right? How to do that? You can do that with Passkey, something like this. So imagine that this is the login screen of somebody else's computer that you don't know your password and even username. You know, maybe you generate your username too complicated to remember. And you can do this. So on the right-hand side is my phone. And let's try this. Okay, refresh. Generate password, and I can use a different device. Use a phone or tablet, and it will generate a barcode, and I can choose barcode reader, scan it. It will ask my face ID, and that's it. It's login. And trust me, there's no complicated code in that. It's done all by the web browser itself, by the WebAuthn API, and by the iCloud keychain. That's it. Because the way that this passkey is stored, it's stored in your operating system, which is in iCloud keychain. If you are Windows, there's a password manager on Windows. If you're on Google account, Android device, there's a Google password manager. It stores in there. And your biometric authentication is only to generate those signature. Because your private key is encrypted, stored encrypted in the operating system. If somebody else get your private key, they cannot decrypt that without your biometric or your password. Or your operating system password, because it's stored in your operating system. Now, how that cross-device work? You only need to have it's on the same network, or it's Bluetooth connected. That's it. If you check my code later on GitHub, there's nothing special in there. I come with another good news as well. So, we know that on Android application, since Android 9, Android application already support Passkey. It's been a while. It's just come on web this year, stable this year. And how we can also use the the Passkey that you generated on your Android applications on the web as well. For example, if you have applications for your bank account that offer biometric login, I'm like 90% sure that it use Passkey or the credential management by the Android. It will have the private key and public key already stored for you. And you can use that same private key and public key on your website as well. Not your bank account, I said, but the bank site can use the same passkey that you registered on the Android device. Just by add this .wellknown assets links.json file, just to tell the relations between the domain and the certification of fingerprints of the Android application. And you can use the passkey that you generated from the Android device and use it on the site. So let's say you have both sites, you manage sites like WooCommerce sites, but also manage Android app for the shopping e-commerce system, e-commerce app, and you can use that. And to get to know more how to implement that, besides just asset link, and you need to aware that you need to add another experience. You can learn that in the Passkey Android session. It's in this year Google I/O Talks. Okay, that's on Android. How about iOS? Yes, iOS also support Passkey for a while now, and you can use the same way. So if you generate Passkey on iOS, you can also use that on the site just by adding the same way of Android. Just link that as your web credentials, Apple App Site Association, and the app's ID on your site. And that's it. Web browser will pick that up and can use the passkey you generate. Apple did announce this in last year WWDC. You can learn that on this link. That's it. Recaps. So if you're a site owner, a developer, start to offer your user a passkey because it's fair for them. That it's not fair to ask them, remember your password, don't use your password, use complex password, and you just make their life complicated. Use passkey. Start adopting passkey to your user. And passkey will help them. It's secure and simple. It's seamlessly switched between device. But don't forget to also provide a fallback. If they use older devices that doesn't use passkey, or they use browser that doesn't use passkey, don't lock out them. You can also support existing authentications. And passkey can still work on them, right? So just add another alternative, a secure way for them. And that's it. My name is Ivan Cristianto. I'm a web GDE, work at HumanMate, and thank you. Where is the MC? Oh. Yeah.
So, do you have any questions for Mr. Ivan? Remember, this is perhaps the #1 type of attack in WordPress today. That is the weak password attacks. So, there's just a chance to find out all the methods you can use on your current site as well as your future sites, or even if you have clients, you can actually even tell your clients to do this method of using passkey. Right now, it only supports Apple devices with some hack with the Android, right? Yeah, okay. So, anyone? Questions? If not, MC is going to ask questions. Okay. Anyone? Does anyone know how long it takes to break a 8-digit password? Does anyone know that?
Take what?
How long it takes to break an 8-digit password in terms of computational power to brute force or dictionary? Not really dictionary, but brute force.
1 hour?
It takes about 1 hour, exactly.
Yay.
So do not use, we're actually much lesser than that, but anyway. Now I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How does this apply in the security of this passkey in post-quantum?
It's the same standard, like for now, the standard that to decrypt the asymmetric encryption is quite hard.
It's quite hard. So it's post-quantum safe?
I don't know.
It's not tested
but
yet.
So far, I don't know that there is an SSH attack that allow to get your private key
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
difficult.
it's quite skilled, right?
Yeah. Private key is one of the best. Yeah, it is the best.
It's used RSA
Yeah, sure.
encryption, so
Yep. Okay, cool. So, any other questions? So we will just one more time before we wrap up the session. Anyone?
it's still another 15 minutes.
Yeah, you
right?
got a lot of time. He's got a lot of time, so we can actually ask lots
Yeah.
of questions. So here we go. Hang on.
I spare time so you can have questions.
Hi, cool chat. Very technical for non-technical like me. So my question is, comparing password. What was this again? Passkeys. Sorry, passkeys with using password managers, or for instance, login with Google or Apple account and stuff. How does this compare? Because from a user perspective, in terms of simplicity, it's about the same. Because I use a password manager, I'll just use my biometric login and then just hit OK. How does this compare?
Yep, good questions. Yep. So first, not everyone use password manager. Let's admit that. My mom doesn't use it. My wife, I have to force her to use it. So not everyone use password manager, even though it's come by default on any web browser. Like someone just don't trust web browser to store my password. Apparently because like for example, if you store password on your Chrome and you don't lock it out, somebody else just open it and just accept that, and it will automatically log in, right? With default web browser autofill. But if something like one password is quite secure, LastPass and BitGuardian, yes, but it comes with price, and Passkey are free. that's the something that we cannot beat. And those password manager that I know also, I love One Password. One Password is start to adopt Passkey as well. So they already have a beta support for Passkey that you can log in like a way that your private key will instead store in iCloud keychain. It will store in One Password server, and it still use your biometric to unlock that, by the way. So it's the same. Second argument about password manager, yes, password manager will also solve the problem about phishing attack, but it doesn't also prevent you to just copy and paste to another phishing site, right? It doesn't stop you that. For example, you open your, maybe not some computer literacy that have higher knowledge of use computer, but someone like, oh, why my password manager doesn't shows, but they open the phishing site, so they just decide to copy and paste it manually, so it's vulnerable. Also with that mistake, right? Passkey doesn't have that vulnerable because they cannot copy and paste the public key. If it doesn't show, it doesn't show. If it is a wrong site, it doesn't show. If it is the right site, it shows. So it stopped that from the very first step of the phishing site. Social login, Google login with Google. You mean the site that use the social login? Yeah. I mean, they're good. They also offer Passkey now. If you have a Microsoft account, they offer Passkey, which means you don't need to enter your Microsoft account, like username and password. You just use Passkey that you registered for the Microsoft account to do the what you call single sign-on. Yeah, it's a single sign-on, right? It's the same. It's reduce your time to type password. Yes, but you already log in with your Google account, right? Imagine you are on a new computer, a different computer. You still need to type that, right? So if your passkey on Google account, you just go to a new computer. Okay, use passkey, scan it, log in it, back, that's it. It saves you tons of time. Well, my Google account password is quite long, but I do remember it, like 16 characters long. But it's only one password that I remember, but the other thing I don't remember. So yeah, it's quite a while, especially to type it on. Imagine to type your password in Apple TV or Android TV with the remote. How about that?
I
Right?
reset to password equals to password.
But if you have passkey, you can just scan. That's it. Imagine you have to type in your smartwatch. You can't, right? So that's the how you're going to solve this problem. And passkey is the future. No more password in the future. We are in the transition mode that we still provide existing authentication with username and password, but in my vision, it's going to be slowly transition to passwordless. Because we already have all the device in our hand to use the biometric authentication. So what my talks today is just the beginning. So you're going to see more sites adopting fingerprint unlock on their site. And I hope you will implement that too for your user. Thank you.